Hi, this is John with Computer Pro again. It is May 5th, 2015. I want to do a second post today. I've actually been meaning to do these for a while, but I just had decided, just by sheer volume, I've been very busy. I didn't have really time to do this. Um, so here's a story with a couple of interesting things that people should know out there. About 2, 3 months ago, I decided I want to try and get new car insurance. So being the dummy that I am, I went online and I saw, well, I didn't go online. I actually saw something online about, get better deals on car insurance. I filled out the form and sent it in. Um, Now, a couple of things happened with that, and both of them are kind of interesting, and both of them are something that I think people should always steer away from now. I guess never fill out online forms. I guess I should have done it. I should know better. I'm a computer technician. I see these things come up every day. Um, First off, I obviously started getting a lot of phone calls I didn't want, and not from just companies about auto insurance, just all kinds of other things. I started getting a lot of emails, spam from companies that had nothing to do with it. And this went on for a number of weeks. The spam is a nuisance more than anything. But here's the interesting thing about the phone calls, and I had never had this happen before, but I had had customers that had gotten tricked by this. All of a sudden, and I don't think it was a coincidence after this, I started getting these calls. Of course, they're from India, from people claiming they were from Microsoft, saying my computer had errors. It was sending out a bunch of messages, and they were calling from Microsoft because they wanted to fix the problems for you. Um, Now, what these folks do, number one is, let me tell you something, Microsoft will never, ever, ever, ever call you about anything. If anybody ever calls you and says they're from Microsoft, they're lying. Whether they're speaking perfect English or whether they're from India, the Philippines, wherever. The best thing you can do is always hang up on them. Now, I knew what was going on, and I chose to spend a few minutes just kind of messing with these people because number one is I was kind of curious what they would say. And number two is I figured, well, if I mess with them for 5 or 10 minutes, it's one less person they can get to, and maybe I'm saving somebody from getting caught by them. So what they do is they go in and they start telling you, they end up telling you to go to what they call the event viewer, which is in your administrative tools. And the event viewer is basically logs the events on your computer. And all computers have errors uh, on a daily basis, hundreds and not thousands of them. I mean, you got to understand your computers is literally computing millions and millions of things, sometimes not simultaneously, but millions of bits of information. So you're going to have some errors. And they tell you to go look at, and they tell you, oh my God, your computer's in bad shape. Then they tell you to go to what they call a command prompt, if you know what that is. I'm not going to get into too much detail on that. And they tell you to look at something. Um, and again, it's not really for the layman. But then they, of course, after this is all done, you need your computer fixed, of course. And what happens is you need to pay them $200, and they'll set up actually some monitoring on your computer, and they will and they'll fix everything for you. Of course, this is going to cost you $200. You're going to have to give them a credit card, everything like that. My advice to you is don't do it. Oh, and the other thing is they will remotely take over your computer. What they're going to do is, at the point, if you let them go that far, they use a program like TeamViewer or LogMeIn, and then they ask you, I'm going to take over your computer. I'm going to show you what's going on, and they go in and you remotely let them take over your computer, and you have no idea what they're going to do. Now, I've had two interesting things happen. I had a gentleman who called me who actually was using a remote service, which all remote services are junk. I don't care what anyone says. Okay, you don't use them. And the gentleman had used a legitimate remote service, which is a waste of money. And somebody had called him, and he had let them on thinking it was his legitimate company. It was another one, and they ended up locking him out of his computer. So I had to go in and hack his computer to do it. The funnier one was this older lady. who's a regular customer, called me and had allowed them to take over a computer, and she realized before it was too late that it was a scam. And so she called me, and the funny thing was when I got over to her house, um, the guy had put a picture, I don't think it was of himself, but of an Indian man in a kind of exotic pose, leaning backwards in a Speedo on her desktop. And of course, she didn't know how to remove that either, but I had to go look at that for her and fix that. So anyway, again, you really need to stay away from those type of things. Don't fill out forms online. Call local businesses. I mean, they're all trying to make money off you. Your best bet is just to stay away from it, and definitely, definitely, nobody ever calls you from Microsoft. Remember that. Anyway, that's it for today. Have a great one. Bye.